welcome back to the vlog. All right, so this is more adventures in substitute teaching. I'm like, oh my gosh, the oh, you wouldn't believe what substitutes run into. I guess you could call this um, adventures in rockstar substitute teaching, because what I do as my normal job as being a quote unquote rock star, filmmaker, everything else, and substitute teaching on the side, it is just freaking crazy. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so kind of just to run down a few types of scenarios for you. You got the quintessential teacher that came from Hollywood Central Casting, where he's a athletic coach slash math teacher. So it's the quintessential, high school coach slash math teacher. So anyway, I'm teaching at this guy's class, right? At this high school. And I get there before the students arrive and everything, and a normal thing. I'm like, all right, so I'm like kind of scoping out this guy's class and kind of just like getting a vibe of, what this guy is all about. Like looking at the decor in his class and seeing how he decorates his room. You can tell a lot about a teacher, about how they decorate their room and everything. It's really interesting. So anyway, I'm looking, and he's got he's got his junior high school class photo, where they take like a panoramic photo of, everybody in their junior high class. He's got the junior high school panoramic photo. Underneath that, he's got the high school panoramic photo, of his entire high school panoramic photo. And then he's got his college diploma from 2019. So he's a new teacher, 2019, he's a new teacher and everything. So got that. And then also on his wall, he's got him and his wife's wedding announcement on the wall. And it's, got it's just super cheesy wedding announcement, like our first date, our first this, our first that. I'm like, oh my gosh, how cheesy can it get? Anyway, so he's got that, and then he's also got his 2011 his 2011 high school class tassel hanging on the wall, from graduating in 2011. I'm like, all right, that's weird, whatever. Then he's got his track and field badges, where he ran, track and field races, things of that nature. He's got photos of him with the football coaches, where he's part of the football coaching team and everything. And then I'm looking at recent photos, because he has recent photos of himself on the wall, and his recent photos they're not impressive. I'm just saying, they're not impressive recent photos. And so apparently is what it appears has happened is he went from being college jock back in the high school college jock back in the day to letting it slide kind of thing. I'm saying letting things slide. So he's looking rather portly, I guess you could say, looking rather portly. So he's the quintessential kind of guy where he's got the degree in mathematics, and he's the high school football coach, rather, whatever it is, kind of thing. So anyway, also observing the rest of his class, he's got 3 microwave ovens, he's got a toaster oven, he's got a half-size refrigerator plus a quarter-size refrigerator in his classroom. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this guy with 3 microwaves, refrigerators, the whole thing going on? So anyway, class gets in session, And the class comes in, and I'm just kind of observing, kind of see what they do and everything, and they immediately just like it's like freaking break time or something. It's like they're like busting out sandwiches or busting out soups. They're, it's just like hot pockets. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm just kind of observing this. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, kind of class settles down. I take roll and everything, and I'm like, all right, guys. So, I've seen, teachers with, a microwave in their classroom, and it makes sense to have a microwave in your classroom. Whatever, that's cool. Get that. So, like, what's up with 3 microwaves, 2 refrigerators, toasters, and everything else? And he's like, oh yeah, well we're in the football team, and so we like pay him or whatever, and he buys us all this food so we can eat and everything. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So it's like full on freaking lunchtime in his classroom, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and they're like full on chowing down at their desks. I'm like, whatever. Cool. All right. You go, guys. So you got that guy, and it was a cool class. I mean, the kids were well behaved and stuff, and there's no problems. It was just weird as hell, is all I can say. It's just freaking weird as hell. Then, another day of subbing this science class, and at the same high school. So I get there, and there's like minimal instructions. Like, so the instructions were like, all right, so we're going to be watching this Mythbusters video that's already on my computer, and so yeah, play this particular video off this Mythbusters DVD, and then pass out this paper that they need to answer these questions about this Mythbusters video. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So she has like her computer on her desk, which is fine, and then she has this giant TV screen where her whiteboard used to be, so it's a giant, presentation screen. And I'm like, so I turn on the presentation screen, the big screen TV, and it's, I turn on the teacher's computer, and obviously it's, locked. And so the teacher failed to tell me, like, oh hey, by the way, you're gonna want to call the office and get the substitute login information to be able to log into my computer to be able to play this thing on the TV. And so I called the office, and I got the substitute login information, which was archaic as hell. Whatever, I got it, but super archaic. Anyway, so I got that, but it still wasn't communicating with the TV on the display board. And so I'm like, well, what the hell? Anyway, I go across the hallway. I get the other teacher. I'm like, hey, this is the deal. We need to watch this movie. Can you help me get this thing to work? And so she screws around with it for a while, and she finally was able to get the presentation screen to communicate with her computer, and I got the video to work end of the day. So whatever, but I'm just like, seriously, that could be some really freaking helpful information. Put it in your notes. Hey, call the office, get the substitute logins. Here's how to make it communicate with the presentation screen. The basics, to make shit work. Like, but no, let's just make shit really difficult for the substitute teacher. Thanks. Appreciate ya. Anyway, so there's that. That was just a freaking nightmare, but anyway, so that class went fine, and then at the during that same classroom, you got the video played through, and everything's fine with that. The kids did their work, everything's cool, and then you notice the kids in the back just kind of like talking amongst themselves as they do, and I'm like, I'm not a freaking Nazi substitute teacher. I'm chill. I realize how it is with kids, and pick your battles, listen to the kids. You know, you're going to learn some interesting things just by listening to the kids anyway. So I'm listening to this girl and her friend, her other girlfriend, talking and everything, and she's talking about how she's gay and everything, and cool, I don't care, it's all good. And she's just talking about how her family life is, and it's just like, and her family is just like super conservative Mormon family, and they don't really accept her for who she is or anything like that, and she doesn't get along with her parents. She only like argues with her parents, and just kind of listening to her story, I'm just like, damn, your parents are seriously missing out on a seriously kick-ass girl. I'm just like, man, you're like really cool, and your parents are just like seriously missing out because they're so damn close-minded. And it just kind of breaks my heart to hear stories like that about, you know, kids' home lives and things like that. I'm just like, man, this is really just unfortunate. So, and then anyway, today, teaching this psychology and sociology class at this high school. And I walk into the class, and first thing I notice is this giant display of rosaries on this teacher's bulletin board. He's just got this whole collection of rosaries. I'm like, rosaries? All right. And also, then he's got like these, like I guess I could call it 3 different panels on his wall, separated by, you know, windows looking to the outside. So there's like 3 separate panels separated by windows, but each panel of wall is like covered in a montage of historical figures, all the way from like Jesus Christ to Gandhi to Einstein to Muhammad Atta, the 9/11 terrorist guy that flew the plane into the building or whatever the hell, and, you know, Elizabeth Smart, Brigham Young. It's got Al Capone. He's just got like this giant plethora of all these people from history. I'm like, what the hell does all this mean? This is just super random, super crazy. I'm like, I don't know what the hell this guy is thinking. And so anyway, I'm just like talking to the students and everything. I'm like, the students have no freaking idea what this crap means either. Like, I don't know. The students are like, teacher's freaking weird. He plays like, you know, religious music like all day, and he has to like talk over his religious music to even communicate to his kids. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Trying to figure out, you know, what this teacher's deal is. And so anyway, it was a good class. But you know, when I put my name on the whiteboard as to who their substitute is, I was like, I just write on there, Daniel Jesse is my name, and, you know, they go, Mr. Jesse, Daniel Jesse, whatever. So, and they all comment. I'm like, hey, I love your fingernails. You know, you got great fingernails. You got great jewelry. You know, they like the jewelry. They like the fingernails. You know, things like that. I'm just like, oh, that's just part of my real job, and that just kind of opens up the door. I'm like, well, what do you do outside of here? I'm like, well, you know, if you Google my name, Daniel Jesse, you'll find out what I really do, and, you know, about the documentaries that I make, and, you know, being a drummer for Metal Edge Assassin Team, and all that. And the kids are just like, holy crap, you're freaking awesome. They just, you know, they find it really interesting that their substitute teacher is actually pretty damn cool and has some cool stuff going on. So lots of questions ensue and everything, and they think it's really cool. But anyway, it's just, you know, the thing with substitute teaching is it's weird in that it's the most rewarding job I've ever had in my entire life, and probably the least paying job, yet the most rewarding job I've ever had. It's kind of weird. I love doing substitute teaching work, but the money sucks. I mean, there's no money in substitute teaching. It basically pays what unemployment paid per week what I was making on unemployment. So it matches my unemployment check, whatever. So I guess I'm still surviving. I guess it's all good. But yeah, so yeah, adventures. Every day is a freaking adventure in substitute teaching, and the teachers that I was substituting for are just like, dude, you're such a great substitute teacher. You're like so good with the kids. You like take control of the class, and you know the kids are so well behaved with you and everything. And it's just like you got this thing with the kids and stuff, and like, have you ever thought about, you know, like teaching permanently? I'm like, hell no, that's way too much money, way too much school. Like, that ain't gonna happen. So that's not gonna happen. I mean, this kind of works out for what I'm doing now, where I can make movies, I can make music, and work when I want to work, not work when I don't want to work, kind of thing. So it's perfect. And she's like, well, I'm gonna recommend you to be the substitute for our high school. So, you know, anybody wants a good substitute teacher, they can call you, and you know, get a good substitute teacher. I'm like, I appreciate that. That's awesome that I'm the recommended substitute teacher at this particular high school. I'm like, that's freaking awesome that these teachers is like, damn, that guy is awesome, so let's like get this guy as a substitute teacher. So I'm like, that's good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, you know, rock star substitute teacher, what are you gonna do but be a badass substitute teacher and have a good time? Anyway, like this video. You know, if you think it's worth subscribing to, definitely hit the subscribe button, click the bell button, and you know, make sure you comment below. Let me know about your substitute teaching stories and things. But this is a crazy journey, and I'll let you know what's going on. But anyway, hit the like button. We'll see you next time. Take care, guys.